The making of Kano political kingmaker. Have you ever wondered how one man have managed to remain the most influential political figure in northern Nigeria for 3 solid decades? How does a politician lose election, switch political party multiple times, and still manage to maintain loyalty of millions of followers? And why is Kano State, the second largest state in Nigeria, regarded as Kwankwaso stronghold? This is not just a story of a politician, it is a story of a movement. A movement that has survived military rule, democratic transition, political party defection, and even betrayal. Today we are taking a deep dive into the life of Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, a man whose name sparked admiration among supporters and fierce opposition among critics. By the end of this video, you will understand why many political analysts believe that no serious politician can ignore Kwankwaso when discussing northern politics in Nigeria. But first, who exactly is Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso? Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso was born on October 21st, 1956 in Kwankwaso village located in Madubi local government area of Kano State. His village will become one of the most recognized political names in Nigeria. Unlike many politicians that emerged from wealthy family, Kwankwaso built his political career through education and hard work. He also served in the public sector in Kano State. But here is an interesting thing that many Nigerians don't know about Kwankwaso. Before politics made him famous, Kwankwaso was an engineer. Let's briefly talk about Kwankwaso's education. His educational journey started in Kano, where he attended primary and secondary education before enrolling in Kaduna Polytechnic to study water engineer. And for those that know him during those periods, describe Kwankwaso as disciplined, outspoken, and interested in leadership long before entering politics. And instead of joining politics straight after graduation, Kwankwaso joined Kano State Water Resources and Engineering Agency. Interestingly, he worked as a civil servant for 17 years. Starting as an engineer, he rose to become the principal engineer. And this was the pivotal period that shaped Kwankwaso's understanding of governance. And for many, they believe his engineering background is actually crucial in what later shaped his interest in road construction, schools, and public service while serving as governor. Whether that is true or not, Kano felt his impact as governor. So, how does an engineer become one of Nigeria's biggest political heavyweights? The answer lies in the dramatic political changes that happened in 1990s. In the 1990s, Nigeria was gradually transitioning from the military rule to the democratic rule. Political parties were beginning to emerge. And suddenly, a young, passionate civil servant saw an opportunity to shape the future of Nigeria. And Kwankwaso smartly joined the Social Democratic Party, that is the SDP, and became one of the influential people that participated in that election. And the party was led by late General Shehu Musa Yar'Adua. That network produced strong national leaders that helped launch Kwankwaso into the national stage. And in 1992, he contested for the Federal House of Assembly and won, representing Madubi Federal Constituency. He quickly set a good impression despite being relatively young among lawmakers. Fellow lawmakers elected him as a deputy speaker of the Federal House of Representatives. That was a remarkable achievement that transformed him from local politician to a national politician just overnight. But then everything changed so quickly. Military rule returned again. Unlike many politicians of that era, Kwankwaso's political journey was interrupted. And when democracy returned in 1999, Kwankwaso was fully prepared and ready. He joined the People Democratic Party and contested for the Kano State governorship position, and he won. At just 42 years old, Kwankwaso became Kano State governor. Few could have predicted that his first term will lay a foundation for one of Nigeria's most enduring political movements. But here's the surprising part. Kwankwaso's greatest political weapon was not money, and it wasn't even his office as a governor. It was something far more powerful. It was a movement. And that movement will eventually be known as the Kwankwasia movement. The rise of the Kwankwasia movement. Before then, let's look at how the name came to be and what even make it more stronger. When Kwankwaso became Kano State Governor in 1999, expectations were high. Kano wasn't just another state, just a normal state. Kano was the commercial heartbeat of northern Nigeria. With a population running into millions, deep religious and cultural influence, and a long history of producing national political figures. Governing Kano means governing one of Nigeria's most influential states. For his first days in office, Kwankwaso wanted to be seen as a politician that focused on development rather than mere speeches. His administration invested in roads, schools, healthcare, community projects, and a lot of infrastructure all over Kano. His supporters usually point to infrastructural development and investment in education across the state, while critics argue that some projects did not adequately address all of Kano's social and economic challenges. But if Kwankwaso was so popular, why did he lose after just one term as a governor in office? The answer reveals how unpredictable Nigerian politics can be. In 2003, Kwankwaso sought re-election as a governor in Kano, but many expected him to win his re-election bid effortlessly. But surprisingly, Kwankwaso lost to Ibrahim Shekaru. For many politicians, that kind of loss would have marked the end of their political career. But for Kwankwaso, it became a beginning of something much more bigger. Instead of disappearing from politics, he remained very active in national politics. He served in some important roles in the national level, including the Minister of Defense, and that also helped him gain a broader political network and establishing himself as a national figure. And those years away from Kano also gave him the opportunity to build himself beyond Kano State. Here is where the story takes an unexpected turn. Sometimes losing an election gives a politician time to build even much more stronger political machines, and that is exactly what happened. Between 2003 and 2011, Kwankwaso focused on building a network, on reconnecting with supporters at the grassroots. He attended community meetings, he visited local leaders, and he stayed connected with traders, leaders, artisans, youth groups, and students. And rather than relying on political offices, he invested in people. And many of those investments he made in people will later become the backbone of what we see in his political movement today. By the time 2011 election arrived, Kwankwaso has rebuilt himself and political base. He returned to contest again, and this time he won. And his second time will later become what defined his legacy. And what made his second tenure different? Many believe this was a time Kwankwaso stopped being a governor and became a political leader, a leader of a movement, the Kwankwasia movement. During his second administration, his government launched a number of projects in education, healthcare, road construction, and public service reform. One of the policies most associated with his administration was the expansion of educational opportunities. Thousands of students received scholarships to study in Nigerian universities and abroad. Many beneficiaries later returned as doctors, engineers, teachers, scientists, and other professionals. Supporters argue that this investment helped produce a new generation of skilled workers from Kano. His administration also pursued infrastructural projects including roads, hospitals, and public building, while introducing reform in parts of the civil service. Like many large government projects, these initiatives also attracted criticism from the oppositions. But if developmental projects explain some reasons behind his popularity, they don't explain everything. So, why do people remain loyal to him years after he has left office? The answer is simple: the Kwankwasia. Kwankwasia is more than just a political slogan. It is a political movement built around organization, identity, and grassroots mobilization. Its supporters are mostly seen with red cap, which has become a famous symbol for the movement. Across Kano, red cap have become a symbol of loyalty to Kwankwaso. Over the years, the movement has expanded beyond rallies. It has developed into network among traders, students, transport workers, professionals, women, youth organizations, and local political leaders. Unlike many political movements that become inactive after every election cycle, the Kwankwasia movement have maintained a grassroots presence even before, during, and after election cycles. And these are factors that continue to keep the movement relevant even when Kwankwaso is not actively in office. Think about this for a moment. How many Nigerian politicians can leave office yet still command crowd large enough to shape the outcome of a future election? Very few. And that is what makes Kwankwaso very different. Analysts often describe Kano as one of the strategic political states in Nigeria. because of its large voting population. But over the years, Kwankwaso have continually demonstrated that he has the capacity to mobilize significant amount of supporters there. His influence have also extended to politicians who have also begun their political career under his mentorship. Many former commissioners, legislators, local government officials, and party leaders in Kano State either work closely with him or emerge through his political structure. And this network has helped maintain his influence and relevance through political cycles. But power always attracts resistance, and Kwankwaso's political journey has been filled with battles. He has changed political parties more than once. He has disagreement with former allies. He has built new allies while losing old ones. Yet, despite these shifts, one thing have remained remarkably consistent. His core support in Kano has largely endured. Whether he's contesting under the APC, PDP, NNPC, or the NDC, his support has consistently endured. His ability to maintain grassroots loyalty even after changing party is one of the reasons many observers regard him as one of northern Nigeria's most resilient political figure. At the same time, his critics argue that the movement revolves heavily around his personal influence, while supporters view that leadership as a source of unity and direction. Whatever side of the debate one takes, one fact is difficult to ignore. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso have successfully built a political movement that has outlived a political cycle. That is not a small achievement in Nigeria's highly competitive political landscape. So here we'll look at something very interesting. Why does Kwankwaso continue to control Kano and the northern Nigeria even after not being a governor for a very long time? And how has he managed to remain so very competitive in one of Nigeria's most relevant political states, that is Kano State? The answer goes far beyond political parties. It's far more than just campaign promises. It comes down to what every successful politician needs. That is trust, loyalty, and structure. Now think about this. Political parties come and go. Governors changes. President comes and leaves office. But some politicians remain powerful no matter what. And trust me, Kwankwaso is one of them. Unlike many politicians that become visible during political season, Kwankwaso is always building grassroots even during, after, and before elections. And this strategy creates a lasting political loyalty. For many of his supporters, Kwankwaso is not just a politician. He is a leader that gives opportunities, scholarships, employments, or even political recognitions. And whether every of Kwankwaso's supporters benefit from him directly or not, they believe that the movement represents hope and inclusion. But here is what makes Kano State different. In Kano politics, personality matters as much as the political party, and Kwankwaso understands that better than most of northern politicians. Over the years, Kwankwaso have contested election in different parties, from the PDP to the APC to the ANPP, and the loyalty have always remained intact. Instead of having a grassroots supporters that their loyalty is to the party, you will observe directly that the loyalty of Kano supporters is to Kwankwaso, not to the party. So if Kwankwaso is moving to a new party, you now discover that he moved with that grassroots structure, because the loyalty is no longer to the party but to Kwankwaso himself. That is why no northern politician or no serious Nigerian politicians takes Kwankwaso for granted. And that is why many analysts describe Kwankwasiya movement as a political family rather than just a campaign organization. It has survived change in party platforms. Now, here is a million questions and arguments many will always ask. Does Kwankwaso's control revolve only around Kano, or is this influence much bigger beyond Kano? Now just pay attention. The answer is going to surprise you. Although Kano remains the stronghold of the Kwankwasiya movement and Kwankwaso himself, but his political influence extends to several parts of the north. His supporters are found in several parts of the north, such as Kaduna, Kwara, Nasarawa, Jigawa, Plateau, Kebbi, Katsina, and all over the north. His appeal is noticeable among young voters, students, professionals, and urban communities who identify with what Kwankwasiya stands for. But it is also important to understand that there is a great difference between just having an influence and controlling the state politically. Outside Kano, Kwankwaso's influence is significant in many states, but it varies in other states. Like many northern states have different political ideology and political influence and strong political opposition competing for vote. Even at that, whenever an election cycle is coming close, serious politicians pay close attention to Kwankwaso because his ability to mobilize grassroots voters is not negligible. So why is Kano State very important? You see, in Nigerian politics, not only in Nigerian politics, anywhere politics is played, population is very vital. Population is power. Population always wins. And it might interest you to know that Kano have one of the largest voting population in Nigeria. Therefore, winning Kano can provide you with a great advantage in winning Nigerian presidential election. This is why every serious Nigerian presidential candidate campaigns vigorously in Kano and is intentional about it. When Kwankwaso speak, political observers listen and analysts pay close attention. And when he changes party, analysts ask question why, and when Kwankwaso endorses a candidate, rival parties take notice of it. Kwankwaso's political decision can reshape alliance and influence campaign strategies. But influence doesn't come without its own challenges. Regardless of the opinions, nobody can deny that Kwankwaso is a powerful political figure in the north. His name continued to feature prominently in discussions about coalition, political structure, opposition politics, and presidential elections. So, where does Peter Obi fit into all of this? You see, as the 2027 election approaches, there have been a series of alignment, realignment, coalition, movement, a lot of political reshape happening, and this is where Peter Obi comes in. Peter Obi and Kwankwaso both joined the ADC. After some internal friction and problem with the legal issue as they cited, they moved to the NDC. Peter Obi became the presidential candidate and Kwankwaso the vice president. Now, here is why anybody that is serious about the 2027 general election will not take this union for granted. You see, Peter Obi have a strong connection, a strong political structure known as the Obedient Movement in the South, the Middle Belt, the Southeast, and partially in the North. And these are sets of young voters that are passionate, that are willing to go extra mile without collecting a dime for it. They just want to see a country work. And somehow, this set of voters has managed to convince themselves that Peter Obi have what they want. So that vote they are yearning for is found in this youthful age bracket. And these youth that have this bulk of votes are willing to give it to Peter Obi. Now, Peter Obi happens to appeal to this age bracket for reasons that I mentioned earlier, and the youth believe that he has a record that no other politician that is contesting for this presidency has it. Now, here is where the twist gets so interesting. Now, someone like that from the South is merging with somebody like Kwankwaso from the North with a bulk of loyal grassroots supporters like the Kwankwasia movement. And the merger of the Kwankwasia movement and the Obedient movement, without being biased, is a national shutdown. If you are a political analyst and you want to be factual about the current state of Nigerian politics, the merger between Kwankwaso and Peter Obi is the major opposition when you're talking about presidential election in Nigeria.